This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
You know, it feels like every day since at least January 20th has been a big breaking news day. That's the way it works in Trump 2.0 as he operates at Trump's speed, trying to undo the damage done by the lawless Biden regime for 4 years. Every day, something big is breaking. That's why we're here. But today, May 7th, feels like it might be the biggest breaking news day of all. I don't want to get too excited, but I can't help it. These things just get me going. Donald Trump said yesterday he's got a huge announcement to make any minute now. The speculation has ranged from a big trade deal, a big bunch of trade deals maybe, or it could be Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords, which to me is not a huge announcement. Doesn't really affect me, but he teased us yesterday, and I know he's prone to exaggeration, so I'm not going to get too excited, but here's the president giving us a little tease about what's to come.
And those days are over. Those days are over. And, you know, I said before in our meeting with the new and very talented Prime Minister of Canada that we have some very big announcement to make. It's not about trade. It's about something else, but it's going to be a truly earth-shattering and positive development for this country and for the people of this country. And that'll take place sometime within the next few days.
So it's not about trade, he said. So I guess it wouldn't be a deal with China or anybody, Japan. And he also says it's going to affect the people of this country. I'm sorry, Donald. An announcement that Saudi Arabia is joining the Abraham Accords and making peace with Israel is not a huge development for the people of this country, but we will see every day. Yesterday, the Supreme Court upheld the Trump administration's edict to ban men who are pretending to be women from the military. That was a great development. Obviously, it helps with morale. Obviously, this is what Pete Hegseth wants. This is why recruitment is way up. That was a big deal. This is going to be bigger. James O'Keefe, at the same time yesterday, the great investigative reporter James O'Keefe said he is going to drop a bomb on Washington today. He's going to break a story that's going to lead to many arrests of politicians. That's what he said. He doesn't generally exaggerate. He tends to break news. He is the undercover guy. He gets people on tape. He gets irrefutable proof of scandals. The mainstream media tries to ignore him because he is so much better at the job than they are. And also there's this. We talk about this all the time. Pam Bondi seems to be doing a terrific job as Attorney General. She announced a major drug bust yesterday, the biggest drug bust ever. She showed up at the press conference with a bag of fentanyl pills. I hope they were sealed up tight. But she said they got 3 million fentanyl pills. They busted a cartel leader, a Sinaloa cartel leader in Salem, Oregon. That's where the cartel is hanging out these days. I give her credit for this. She seems to be fighting this war against the cartels and doing a good job battling the Democrats and illegal alien criminals trying to carry out the Trump agenda. I do have some questions, though. I do have one big question. Let's hear from her first, from yesterday, making this announcement, which, as with just about everything you hear from the Trump administration, you have to ask yourself, what if he lost? What if Kamala had somehow pulled it out on November 5th? Would these 3 million fentanyl pills still be circulating? Would someone be taking a fentanyl pill right now and ODing in this country? Would this Sinaloa cartel boss still be living comfortably in Salem, Oregon? I think so. I think this is this is the result of the American people standing up and saying we've had enough of the lawlessness of the invasion of our country by these stone cold criminals. Here's Pam Bondi yesterday.
This multi-agency operation led by DEA with our local, state, tribal, and federal partners targeted one of the largest and most dangerous drug trafficking and foreign terrorist organizations in our country. The DEA seized 11.5 kilos of fentanyl, including an astounding approximately 3 million fentanyl pills, the largest seizure in our nation's history. These are the pills in the bags right there. The main bottom right, the head of this organization, Sinaloa organization, here in the country illegally, 6 of these guys and women here in the country illegally. His name is Alberto Salazar Amaya. He is the leader, and he was living in Salem, Oregon. With him, they got millions of dollars, cash, cars, but the drugs were in Albuquerque, Phoenix, and Utah. That's how insulated these drug dealer cartel leaders make themselves.
This is amazing. Again, I ask, do you think Merrick Garland would be standing there making this announcement saying we got a high-ranking member of a Mexican drug cartel in Salem, Oregon? We got 3 million fentanyl pills sitting right here that would have been consumed by Americans. Americans would have died. So again, I give her credit, we give her credit, but it will always, at least for now, come with an asterisk. I'm sorry, Pam Bondi, you did this to yourself. You said, what is it now, 6-8 weeks ago, that you had the Epstein files on your desk, and you said, quote, they were disgusting and sickening, and people will be shocked. And then you had that charade where they gave some right-wing influencers and podcasters this little brochure, and they said, well, this is not all of it. This isn't really the big story. It's just a tease, which is what it was, a tease. We were told we were going to get the Epstein files. Now, again, the Trump administration has been remarkably transparent and forthcoming, like nothing we've ever seen before. But I'm sorry, people need to see the Epstein files, because if we don't, we just assume there's a cover-up. We assume you're protecting some really important people. There's no other conclusion we could come to. And we hate to think the Trump administration, and you, Pam Bondi, would be involved in this cover-up. You can't stand there daily, talk about what a wonderful job you're doing. And again, you're doing a great job on some fronts, but you brought this on yourself. You told us the Epstein files were coming, and we still don't know why they have not come out. We know we've seen the JFK, RFK, MLK files. Again, great transparency, promises kept, promises made, promises kept. But this is a big one, because there are people out there who raped children on Epstein Island. They are out there. They are free. They might be raping children right now because they have not been held accountable. That is a fact. She said so herself. There are 250 victims, young girls who were abused on Epstein Island and Epstein's Palm Beach mansion in New Mexico and New York. The victims are out there still, and they deserve justice. And you told us they were going to get justice. So we have waited 108 days. That's long enough. Here she is today, again, talking about how they're going through the files. The FBI, it's a lot of work. Well, what about the JFK files? They were a hell of a lot bigger than the Epstein files. We saw those. But all the people involved with that are dead. So these people are alive and well, and maybe they're in positions of power. Maybe they're in Hollywood. Maybe they're doing late night comedy shows. We don't know, because she won't tell us. You cannot survive this, Pam Bondi. Again, I think, say it again, you're doing a good job for the most part, but you promised. And if you don't produce these files, we can come to no other conclusion that you're involved in a cover-up. That's the way it is. Here she is today.
James Comer said yesterday that all the Epstein files are missing. Can you confirm the status of them?
No, the FBI, the FBI, they're reviewing, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that. I haven't seen that statement, but I'll call him later and find out.
You told us 2 months ago you had him on your desk. How does she think she can get away with this? Again, maybe that was a mistake. Maybe she shouldn't have done that, whatever it was, a couple months ago. Maybe she should have just kept up with the, we're going through it. It'll take time. But she promised. She said we would see it. We have to see it. There are people out there. Think of this. Think of the atrocities they committed on that island. I mean, that one victim, Virginia Giuffre, whatever you say her name, she committed suicide, allegedly. Her father says there's no way she committed suicide. This is a historic scandal. And she's seen the files. She knows what's in them. She told us we would see them. We have to see them. Yesterday, James Comer, House Oversight Committee Congressman from Kentucky, went on with Benny Johnson and said, they may not exist. He's a pretty straight shooter. He said they may have been destroyed. How is that going to work? Are you telling me Pam Bondi may never show us the files? She may at some point say, somebody destroyed them. You just heard from her. That was today, I believe, at the White House, saying there's thousands of them. Child porn, videos, Epstein with young girls. This was yesterday, I believe, James Comer talking to Benny Johnson saying, maybe they're gone. Maybe we will never see them. Let's listen.
So you believe it is your contention in closing here that the government doesn't have any files, and that this has been a shell game that was potentially played against the Trump administration, and that they had the right motivations, but that everything has been either shredded, deleted, gone forever.
I don't know. I think the government had information. I don't know if it still exists.
We have the photos, Mr. Chairman. We have the FBI photos of his apartment. We have photos of boxes that are marked evidence, not by the FBI, but by Epstein. Boxes of hard drives and tapes and CDs. I mean, they're all available. You can see them. They've been published a million times. They're the government's photographs.
And they always use the excuse, well, there's an ongoing investigation. Yeah. And they're still using that now. But it's been a long time, and they've had plenty of time. And people keep disappearing that were key witnesses in this case. So the time to release that information is now. The president has ordered it. The attorney general has ordered it. Either they're disobeying the president and the attorney general, or the evidence is no longer in existence. There's no in between. There's either or.
You're exactly right. People are
there. It is.
One final thought on this, Yates.
Either they're covering it up, or it doesn't exist, which is worse. Which means they destroyed the evidence. I'm sorry. We trusted Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino with this. They cannot now tell us, we misplaced it, or it's too sensitive, or it's an ongoing investigation. Epstein is dead. One person, Ghislaine Maxwell, is in prison. One person. She's in prison for sex trafficking victims to no one. No one. She's doing whatever it is, 20 years, hard time for sex trafficking victims to nobody. We need to know who else was involved here. And it would be one thing if you were, corrupt AG like Merrick Garland and a corrupt old fool like Joe Biden. We would just assume you're protecting your friends. But Donald Trump promised transparency. So did Patel and Bondi. It's time. It's time for transparency. Today would be a good day. Donald Trump promised a major story, and James O'Keefe did too. Wouldn't it be great if they were both talking about the same story, that these files will be released, and we will see some names, and there will be some arrests, and there will finally be justice for the many, many victims. I have to get to this, because speaking of victims, speaking of children, speaking of young girls who've been sexually abused, I do this almost every day now because I live in Massachusetts. And in Massachusetts, no child is safe. Just like in New York, in California, in Illinois, in a sanctuary state, in a sanctuary city, children aren't safe. This is what Democrats vote for. They have voted for it for years. They will continue to vote for it. I think we have to stop dancing around the real problem here. Democrats, yes, you, Democrat, just average Democrat in the street, my neighbors here, my friends, some, vote for people who protect child predators, who protect child rapists. It sounds harsh. And I understand most Democrats are brain dead and they just go in there and they see a D and they say, yeah, I always vote for the D. Wake up, people. You have to wake up at this point. You have to understand you are voting for evil. That's not an exaggeration. You are voting for evil. Tell me what else you would call a policy that protects men who rape kids. What else? This was in one day in Massachusetts. God knows it's a regular thing. It is an ongoing theme, a standing headline in Massachusetts. Child rapist grabbed by ICE. Illegal alien in Massachusetts because Massachusetts protects illegal aliens. They don't even hide it. I'll give Maura Healey credit, Mayor Wu in Boston. This is their policy. They are here to protect criminal illegal aliens, drug dealers, murderers, rapists. The worst people in the world, I think we'd agree, the most evil, the most vile are men who prey on little girls. They're living here in Massachusetts. They're not hiding in Texas or Oklahoma. They're hiding in Massachusetts because our elected Democrats, people whose job it is to protect the citizens. If you had to name one priority, one job above all others that a mayor or a governor has, wouldn't it be protect the kids? I know Democrats say that all the time. We're doing it for the children. Yes, we're here to protect the children. We care about children. We need to raise the budget for the schools because of children. We need to protect kids. They're doing the exact opposite. Let me get to this guy. This guy was grabbed yesterday in Worcester. He's here because of Maura Healey, our governor. He's here because of representatives and senators, Democrats, almost all of them are Democrats. And all Democrats support policies who protect this man, Juan Rene Barcenas Velasquez. He's 56 years old. He's from Guatemala. He was taken into custody on March 31st in Worcester. ICE said in a statement, he remains in ICE custody. This guy, I have to breathe in, breathe out, move on. No, this just drives me nuts. This literally kept me up last night. I was texting you, Ironhead, because I kept reading. How is this possible? How do people allow this? How do voters say, yes, I understand the policy of Maura Healey, the policy of Michelle Wu is to protect vermin, vile scum like this, and I vote for them anyway? What is going through your head? What makes you? I understand you hate Trump. I understand Republicans are bad. Your mother told you that. Your teacher told you that. Your college professor told you that. The Republicans don't protect people like this. They're not. They want to arrest him. He would still be free. He'd be raping a 13-year-old today if Trump had lost. And there's no other way to look at it. This man is in custody, hopefully on his way to CCOT in El Salvador, because the country spoke on November 5th. His arrest happened the same day Barcenas Velasquez was arraigned in Worcester District Court for 5 counts of indecent assault and battery on a child under 14 years old. Look at him. Look at this man, 56 years old. And just picture a 14-year-old. I mean, no, under 14. This kid could have been 10, 8, 6. We don't know. They're protecting the victim. Here's a quote from Acting Field Office Director Patricia Hyde of ICE. Quote, Juan Rene Barcenas Velasquez illegally entered the United States and unlawfully settled in Massachusetts. Now he has apparently repeatedly victimized a child, doing unthinkable damage to her. Repeatedly raped a child, sexually assaulted a child in Massachusetts, a sanctuary state, and did unthinkable damage to her. So a 10, 12-year-old girl is scarred for life. Her soul has been destroyed. Her heart is just destroyed by this monster who came here because Mayor Wu and Maura Healey welcomed him. Yes, this is your home. To quote Michelle Wu, you belong here. This is your home. And they took her up on it. They skipped over a whole bunch of states to get here because they knew people in Massachusetts are so brainwashed, so stupid that they vote for people who will protect Mr. Velasquez, Mr. Barcenas Velasquez. There he is in custody, hopefully heading to CCOT. That's not all. That's not all. Same day, again, I have to take a breath. It's just so infuriating. It's so sickening. It's on you, Democrats. Not this. You know what? It's not Michelle Wu. It's not Mayor Maura Healey. They told you what they were going to do. They told you they were going to protect people like this. They told you they believed in sanctuary states and protecting illegal alien criminals, and you voted for them anyway. You think of that 13-year-old, 10-year-old, 12-year-old girl. You put her through this. You voted for people who welcomed this monster to the state and then protected him when he came here. This is from Boston 25. A licensed home daycare on Cape Cod has closed its doors following the arrest of a convicted child rapist who'd been staying there. The closure of the family daycare comes after Fox 25 Investigates began looking into the presence of Andre Tiago Luquez, who's the father of Nunez's children. According to ICE, Tiago Luquez, a Brazilian national, fled to Massachusetts to evade a 9-year prison sentence in his home state in Brazil for the rape of a 13-year-old girl. ICE apprehended him in Bourne on Cape Cod, living in a daycare center, a convicted child rapist, a man who raped a 13-year-old girl, escaped from Brazil and moved to Massachusetts. Gee, what do you think brought him to Massachusetts? Why would he pick Massachusetts? And his wife was operating a daycare center. He was around children every day in this state. How does this not wake people up? How do you not look at this and say, we can't do this anymore? How do you allow this to happen to kids in your state, in your community? Don't you care about kids? Don't you care about 10, 12, 13-year-olds being raped by illegal aliens who aren't supposed to be here? You're not supposed to welcome them. You're not supposed to provide them a sanctuary. They're supposed to be in cages. These are evil people. And we in the state of Massachusetts abet evil. Yes, if you vote Democrat, if you support Maura Healey, you abet evil. You have no soul. You have no decency. You have no humanity. If you support policies that allow a 56-year-old Guatemalan man here to repeatedly rape a child, and if he gets arrested, until recently, they would have released him. They wouldn't give him to ICE. They wouldn't turn him over to ICE for deportation because, he belongs here. This is his home. Maura Healey was asked a while back, last year, about a rape in one of her Healey hotels. Those are hotels reserved for illegal aliens, where they stay in luxury, where they have culturally sensitive food, free Uber rides, free health care, free phones, movie nights. They are treated like tourists at Club Med in Massachusetts. And I just can't figure out why they all are flocking here. It's a mystery that may never be solved. Maura Healey was asked about a case, an illegal alien who raped his daughter and impregnated her. We've talked about it on this show. He wasn't arrested initially, wasn't arrested for like almost a year, I believe. He was sent to a different Healey hotel away from his daughter, who he repeatedly raped. That's who we welcomed here. That's who we provide free food and lodging to. She was asked about this. Let's check out her answer. And you tell me if this woman has any decency, if she has a soul, because I really don't think so. Go ahead.
As the vetting process falls far short.
And to be able to say honestly that you're truly vetting anyone, I think is dishonest.
The governor says Alvarez came to Massachusetts through a federal program.
This is also an individual who came in lawfully under the federal government through a federal program. You know, it speaks somewhat to the issue that states are having to deal with now in terms of the mass numbers coming across the borders.
We asked Governor Healey if she can prevent this type of incident from happening again.
You know, unfortunately, we have security and systems in place. We have vetting in place. It is unfortunate that you know, from time to time things will happen.
But Representative,
from time to time things will happen. Listen to the tone. That was the person they showed you on the screen. He raped a disabled girl in a Healey hotel. She's asked about that. Raping a disabled girl in a wheelchair, I believe. And she says, hey, things will happen from time to time. That woman does she has just, she has no heart. She has no soul, no humanity, no decency. She doesn't care about children. She hates Trump. She wants to get illegals citizenship so they can vote for her. But kids, collateral damage. 13-year-old girls, scarred for life, ruined, destroyed. There's no big deal. You know, it happens. Literally, she just said things will happen from time to time. And she didn't show a slightest hint of remorse, regret, emotion, sympathy, empathy. You know why? Because she has none. None of them do. And if you vote for her, you are the problem. If you vote for that woman, if you vote for any of these people, they're holding a hearing soon on Capitol Hill for sanctuary state governors. They invited Tim Walz, Kathy Hochul, and J.B. Babyback Ribs Pritzker to testify. That should be good. She belongs there too. Explain to us how you allowed all these rapes, how you allowed 13-year-old children to be raped. Do you care? Do you have no decency? You know what? She does not. None of them does. All right, I'm going to try to take a breath. We're going to move on. We're going to get to this Portnoy story. Boy, it has just taken a wild turn. If you haven't been following it, we have the latest from Mo Khan, you know, the dumb, drunk kid that just in a momentary moment of stupidity posted that sign in Portnoy's bar, that one that said F the Jews. Well, I don't think he's a very sympathetic figure at this point. He's not going to Auschwitz. No, instead, he's going on the Stu Peters show, which tells you all you need to know. We will get to that. We'll tell you what he had to say. And, man, we're waiting on the big announcement. It could happen in a minute now. We will be here for it. If Trump's big announcement happens in the next few minutes, we will have it all. But first.
Excuse me.
Is the U.S. dollar in trouble? We're living in unpredictable times with digital currencies on the rise, a $35 trillion national debt, and inflation still at a 40-year high. Tesla billionaire Elon Musk has warned that the U.S. dollar is heading for destruction and that these factors could bankrupt the U.S. Financial experts are urging Americans to prepare right now. That's why you should strongly consider physical gold and silver to help protect your accounts like IRAs and 401ks. Preserve Gold is giving away a free precious metal guide that contains essential information on how to help protect your accounts. Just text the word Newsmax to 50505. Learn how you can put physical gold and silver into an IRA or a 401k and even purchase precious metals for delivery directly to your home. Preserve Gold has hundreds of 5-star reviews and millions of dollars in trusted transactions with satisfied clients. As an exclusive offer to our listeners, in addition to the free guide, you can also get up to $15,000 in free gold and silver with a qualified purchase. So don't wait. Text Newsmax to 50505 to claim this exclusive offer from Preserve Gold today. Quick recap. We've talked about the story of the last couple of days over the weekend at a bar in Philadelphia, owned by Barstool, owned by Dave Portnoy. 2 punks, supposedly just drunk college kids, put a sign up on their table. I guess it's used for ordering drinks. Instead, they told the waitress to put the words "F the Jews" up on the sign. They did it. The waitresses have been fired. The 2 guys who did it, one of them, his name is Mo Khan. He posted it on Instagram and had a good laugh. Now, this was brought to the attention the next day of Portnoy, who did a angry rant of his own and put out a video, said he was going to burn them down, destroy these kids' lives. Portnoy thought better of it as a guy who has said some dumb things himself in the past, who's been the victim of cancel culture and the dox mob and all that. He thought better of it. He came up with a better idea. He consulted with Bob Kraft and the Kraft family, done a lot to fight anti-Semitism, and he came up with an idea, which I thought was a good one, to send these 2 kids, these 2 idiots, to Auschwitz. Now, I'm not sure how that would have played out. I'm not sure if they would have indeed learned their lessons. But it was an effort to not necessarily destroy their lives for this one moment of absolute idiocy. And if they had gone, if they'd shown some humility, if Mo Khan had said, once again, I'm sorry, I'm not anti-Semitic, and I was drunk, I was stupid, I think he could have got past it. He's been suspended from Temple University, and I'm just going to guess that becomes a permanent expulsion. Because Mo Khan has decided he ain't going to Auschwitz. He's not playing along. He's not going to accept Portnoy's offer to the attempt to repair the damage and show some contrition. I think he could have gotten through this. I really do. I think at this point, we're sick of cancel culture. We understand people say dumb things. We understand people make mistakes, especially when they're young and drunk. Well, he has decided he ain't taking that route. He has gone on the offensive. He has attacked Portnoy, said it's all his fault. Him, Portnoy, and all the other Jews. It's the Jews' fault, of course. It turns out Mo Khan is a anti-Semite. He's a Muslim who isn't a big fan of Israel. He started his own Give, Send, Go. And I thought when I heard this, I thought it was bad. I said, he's really going to raise money? He's raising money, and he is doing it because, the Jews are coming after him. He has to raise money to sue Portnoy and to find a new college, he thinks, or a new place to live. And he's showing absolutely no regret, no remorse. He put out a video. Portnoy put out his own video, including Mo Khan's video. Tell me you've ever seen or heard anybody in this cancel culture era who is less remorseful. We know what he did. There's no disputing. We saw the video. He now claims he didn't do it. It was on his Instagram, but he claims he didn't do it, and he claims he is the victim here. This is unbelievable. We got a short clip from Portnoy introducing Mo Khan, and we have his appeal to people to, send him money because the Jews are after him. Go ahead.
And this kid's face should be ingrained in you, be like, this is what the face of hatred is. This is what the face of being a coward is. This is the face of zero accountability, everything that's wrong with his generation. And this kid now, officially, it should stick with him forever. And by the way, his parents, who I know are giving the advice, nice kid you raised.
Over this past weekend, I was in an establishment in Philadelphia where an incident occurred, and Dave Portnoy sensationalized it to his 9.2 million followers on Instagram and X, essentially turning it into a global news story. Although I had nothing to do with the sign coming out, nor do I know who did it, I know that the sign was provocative because it reminded people a lot of the unjust things that Israel is doing around the world, thus leading me to report on it. Dave Portnoy and his friends can choose to be triggered over the sentiments of that sign and even kick me out of the establishment forever. However, they have no right to destroy my life over free speech and ultimately something that was an edgy joke. Frankly, they're more worried about destroying and uprooting me than the thousands of people getting destroyed and uprooted in genocide. That sign had no effects in terms of killing any Jews. However, Israel kills thousands of people on a daily basis. Dave Portnoy and the greater Jewish community are acting as if they are the victims when this whole time I am the victim. While Dave lies about me on the internet and viciously attacks me, tries to take me to take a trip as a result of not destroying me and my family, here's ways that I've actually been affected and not just my feelings. I've gotten suspended from my university with threats of being expelled. I've lost a prestigious internship that I worked really hard to get. I've been doxxed. I've been receiving death threats via social media, phone calls, even text messages of random kids dying, being left to die. My roommates had to evacuate our house. They weren't even involved, and they had to evacuate our premises due to someone leaking our address on the internet. Everyone has to remember, I'm just a 21-year-old college student. I'm not a public figure. Dave is twice my age, a multimillionaire, and well-connected to all these institutions that are very elite. This asymmetric power dynamic is the exact reason I made statements to Dave earlier that night and before that don't accurately reflect the responsibility that I bear. I made those statements under duress. One of the things I said was literally 2 minutes after I received calls for a death threat. I love my parents. They worked really hard to gain the American citizenship the correct way and so that they could provide it to me. I love America. I love free speech. And I love Americans that want to protect their constitutional rights and safeguard all the rights that they should be assured to living in this beautiful country. Dave has built a reputation, a career, and a business solely focused on the anti-cancel culture. Here, he's hypocritically lynching me, absolutely canceling me in any way possible and ruining my life. Dave Portnoy owes me restitutions and an apology for everything that he has done and caused for me in these past few days. In an attempt to expose me, he exposed himself as almost a total fraud, going back on anything he stands for. Please, I'm imploring you. I'm asking you for help to pay for these attacks, to pay for any possible legal restitution, any relocation expenses, any educational expenses, and show the founders of cancel culture that their reign of tyranny is over.
Wow. Where to begin? He's the victim. He flat out says it. He says Portnoy owes him restitution. Here's the problem with this. If Portnoy did what he initially did, just said, let's destroy these kids' lives, he might have a point because, Portnoy's been a warrior against cancel culture, but he gave you an out. He gave you a chance. You would have done the Auschwitz thing, and then there would have been an appearance, and he would have apologized, and there would have been some sympathy. And I don't think he would have been canceled. He would have been, and Portnoy could have taken a bow, said he showed some grace and showed some sympathy, and this kid should have said, I was dumb, I was drunk, I wasn't thinking. Instead, he ties the F the Jews sign to genocide in Israel, which is the whole problem. Jewish kids in a bar in Philadelphia had to see that. F the Jews. Jewish kids who have no connection to Israel, have no responsibility for what's happening in Gaza. The thing that drives me nuts, and I know we've talked about it many, many times, how do you blame a college kid in Philadelphia for a war 5,000 miles away. It's just nonsensical. It's cruel to make Jewish kids uncomfortable because you're upset about a war on the other side of the world. This kid is a moron, and he's a scam artist. He's going to sue Portnoy, and he's already begun his give, send, go. He's going to try to get rich off this. Do you have the latest from his give, send, go? We'll see how he's doing. He's not quite up to Carmelo Anthony levels just yet. I believe Carmelo Anthony's up in the 600,000 level or 700,000 level, as a reward for stabbing a white kid. But where is Mo Khan at here, Ironhead?
He's at $12,188.
It's a good start. $12,188 for a kid who is taking no responsibility. I mean, he literally said, I had nothing to do with it. It was his own Instagram account. If it never got posted, if it never went viral, it would have been a problem for the bar, for the people, but it wouldn't have been a national story. Here's what else he's doing, to tell his side of the story and garner some sympathy and financial support. This is almost, I had to watch this twice to believe it. He went on last night with Stu Peters. If you don't know who he is, he's an anti-Semite who blames everything on the Jews, of course. Not a big fan of Muslims either, but he's apparently a fan of this Muslim because he, hates Jews. He goes on to tell his story to Stu Peters, who could be the most infamous, prominent, anti-Semite in America. I guess he has a show that appeals to people who blame all the world's troubles on the Jews. He's who advised him? Mom and Dad told you to do this, Mo? I don't think this was a great move, but again, good move. Great, good development here for Portnoy because boy, it makes this kid just seem downright evil. Check this out.
This guy's not a good guy. He just utterly destroyed my life.
No, he's not a good guy. He's a filthy Jew. But tell me more about Temple. So did they call you and say, hey, you're suspended? Or how did did your scholarship get revoked?
I essentially just got an email from Temple University stating that I'm on interim suspension. So until further investigation goes on, I'll be honest, an event similar to this happened a couple months ago, and I talked to my friends. They said that, brother, trust me, you're looking at nothing short of an explosion. They're not going to take this lightly. I said, look, man, I already kind of knew that.
So they're doing an investigation. He's hoping, I assume, to stay in school. And he goes on this show and talks about the filthy Jew. God, what a moron. Well, I mean, at some point, if you're trying to, make your case, don't you have to make yourself, somewhat sympathetic, somewhat appear like maybe you have a case? I don't think it's working for old Mo Khan. I don't think, although you never know with Temple. You wonder how a kid like this gets such sinister, ideas in his young mind. And some people are theorizing it might be mom and dad. It might be, his community, maybe online. He's been radicalized. At Temple University, they have one of those chapters of, what do they call them? Students. Let me get that thing. Students for Justice in Palestine. Yes, Students for Justice in Palestine, SJP, one of these, organizations. They're the ones that organize the protests where the kafiyas harass Jewish kids, vandalize places, put up swastikas. They're radicals. They're students. I think that's in the name. Here's a meeting for the Students for Justice in Palestine at Temple University. This is remarkable. These are the people Democrats are defending when the Trump administration tries to revoke the visas of these radicals who hate this country. And they say, hey, it's free speech. Yeah, we have free speech. You were on a student visa. You lied on that visa when you said why you wanted to come here. And we don't want you here. Why would anyone want these people here? Listen to the students at Palestine talk about their objectives. Go ahead.
So we see this existential connection between the Palestinian students movement and the political prisoners. So the Palestinian student, the day after of Oslo, they changed their activism from the campus to the armed struggle. If Palestine is liberated, this means this is a nail to dismantle the United States of America.
We know it's a victory when a red triangle goes above an Israeli soldier's head and the pig gets iced. Like, we know that's a victory. We know it's a victory when prisoners break out. We know it's a victory when all these things happen. But a lot of people don't necessarily know that. And it's not their fault they don't know that. It's our fault.
We will free Mumia because it is our job to destroy imperialism, destroy the United States, and destroy capitalism and the system of extraction that it relies on to perpetuate itself.
Oh my God, that's a student, and he's a young guy. He's a moron. He sounds stupid. Our job is to destroy the United States. Those are our young minds. That's where your colleges, prominent universities in Philadelphia. That's what they're teaching kids in college. They first of all, it's a victory. Anytime an IDF soldier gets killed, that was a little skinny white kid in a mask. And then the last kid says, our job is to destroy imperialism, destroy the United States. Gee, I wonder where Mo Khan gets those twisted thoughts. Wonder where his twisted ideology comes from. Maybe he's learning it in class at Temple. I'm telling you, there's going to be a movement to keep him in school. They have no problem with his anti-Semitism. They have no problem with it at all at many schools, and that's the problem in this country. All right, we got to move. We got so much more to get to. Still waiting on the big news. Oh, and I want to do this too. The Pulitzer. They named the Pulitzer Prize winning photo from last year. Now, you would think this wouldn't even be a competition. You'd think there was the single most iconic photo in American history, or one of the top 2 or 3 last year. I'll tell you if it won. You take a wild guess if it won. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
Are you a yo-yo dieter? You diet, you lose weight, you gain it all back, plus a few extra pounds. Then later you lose it, regain it again and again and again. It's dangerous. You know this. Studies show that you can increase your risk of heart attack, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and other health problems. Breaking free of your yo-yo diet pattern is a main reason doctors created Lean. Lean is a supplement, not an injection, and you don't need a prescription. The science behind Lean is impressive. It's studied natural ingredients target weight loss in 3 powerful ways. Lean helps maintain healthy blood sugar, it helps control appetite and cravings, and it helps burn fat by converting fat into energy. Listen, if you're tired of losing weight and gaining it back, if you want to lose meaningful weight at a healthy pace, Lean was created for you. Let me get you started with 20% off when you enter Newsmax20 at takelean.com. That's code Newsmax20 at takelean.com. Joe Biden gave his first interview since since losing or since being excommunicated, going into hiding. He did it with the BBC. What? Why? After all the mainstream media in this country did for him, after all 60 Minutes and CNN and ABC and he went on with the BBC, and I thought it'd be more embarrassing. Obviously, he looks like, he belongs in a casket. He sounds awful. Obviously, he's riding on the rims at this point. He didn't say a whole lot, just blamed Trump for appeasing Putin, something fresh and original like that. Do we have some Biden? Just listen to how tired he sounds. He was president 108 days ago. That is hard to believe. Let's listen to this old fool.
Should you have withdrawn earlier, giving someone else a bigger chance?
I don't think it would have mattered. We left at a time when we had a good candidate. She was fully funded, and what happened was I had become what we had set out to do no one thought we could do. And become so successful on our agenda, it was hard to say, no, I'm going to stop now.
Gee, I wonder why he's not doing a lot of interviews. I thought you paused the video there 3 times. You just
nope.
Didn't. I don't think it would have mattered. He was the president of the United States, the leader of the free world. 3.5 months ago. That is amazing. Man, what a dark time. What a stain on this country's history that old fool was. Just a joke. And the media covered it up and lied to him to you for 4 years. And he rewards him by going on the BBC for his first big interview. But I guess it was a big surprise. He stayed awake, I think, for the whole interview. He didn't.
Little
well, maybe he didn't. Yeah, maybe they edited it. Maybe they edited it, and that'll be next year's Emmy for editing. 2 quick observations about our awards, our iconic awards in this country. The Emmy for Best Editing in Television went to CBS 60 Minutes for the editing job they did in the Kamala in their Kamala Harris interview, which Trump sued them successfully for because they did it to save her, to make her look good. I mean, that was just a middle finger to Trump. That's a joke. Emmys are a joke. The Pulitzers are a bigger joke. I can't believe I used to think these things mattered. I mean, they are going all in on just politics. They're just hacks like everyone else in elite media circles. You would think that this photo, the famous Trump fight photo, would be the only choice. Clearly, I was trying to think of a more iconic photo in American history. Now, you could say Iwo Jima. You could say the flag raising.
Definitely.
Would be number one. By the way, the whole movie, Flags of Our Fathers, I watched it again last night. It is great. Great book, great movie. The whole story of the flag raising and the guys who did it, by James Bradley, whose father was one of them. It's an amazing story. Anyway, I'll put that at number one. What would be number two? Anything? Anyone? I mean, there's lots of iconic sports photos of Ted Williams and Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays and.
I would say it would be either this or something to do with Lance Armstrong, maybe.
It would be this. And if you're talking about something in America, you're talking about something in American politics, there's nothing even close. It is just, he won the election in part because of this. He got shot. He's got blood streaming down his face. He's got his fist in the air. The American flag is there. This is the most iconic photo in American political history. And there should have been no debate. They should have moved on to their other phony awards for, best reporting for some made up, the Russia hoax. They won Pulitzers for the Russia hoax. This didn't win. No. And it's almost a concession that they are just partisan hacks, because that was an AP guy who took that and didn't win. The New York Times guy won, I think it's the New York Times guy, for another photo from Butler. This photo. Now, this photo is amazing because apparently there's a bullet. You can't really see it until you zero in. And I guess that's a bullet. But how could you ever make the case that this one is more iconic, more memorable, more meaningful than the other one? You can't. But they know that other photo, the fight photo, helped him. And they know it was one of the reasons he won. I tweeted that night that if he lives, he wins. That's the way I looked at that moment. If he lives, he wins. We didn't know. I tweeted it literally when he was on the ground and then got up and we didn't know if the bullet caught him in the neck or in the abdomen. We didn't know. It was just the most incredible, unforgettable moment we've ever seen. And they honor it with this photo, which you have to look hard to see the bullet. And it was just pure luck. The guy was taking pictures and the bullet.
It's still a cool photo, but it is not the other one.
The other, which has had a bigger impact, which will be remembered longer, which has been reproduced more. I mean, it's something that will live forever in American political culture. But they couldn't give it to them. They just couldn't bring themselves to give it to them. I thought it was going to be, Kamala cackling or Joe Biden, falling down or something. There was, I guess, it was a pretty eventful year. There was some great photos, but nothing comes close to the fight photo. But that's the Pulitzers now. They are like everyone else, like everything else, just all about, Trump derangement and politics, partisan politics. But, all right, any big announcement yet from Trump or from James O'Keefe, Ironhead?
Nothing yet. I'm surprised that they even went with Butler if they weren't going to use that other photo.
That's true. It's true. There was another photo of Biden walking away that won something, and I'm thinking, they just can't bring themselves. I mean, you gotta at some point be honest. There's never been a photo like that. There's never been a nominee for that award more deserving of the fight photo. But no, can't give it to him. Can't let Trump win. That's their whole, philosophy of life. Can't let Trump win. All right, we will be keep monitoring the situation, as they say, as Trump promised a major announcement. James O'Keefe promised to drop a bomb on D.C., and of course, the Cardinals have begun the conclave. So we'll have a new a new pope any day now, probably by the weekend, a new pope. And hopefully he won't be anything like the last one, but we will see. That will do it for today. Thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my God. Is she crazy?
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Oh, too many thank yous.